Yes, 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 and we are live. We're gradually rounding this global conference up. It has been explosive. It has been an amazing 4 days ride. This is the fourth and final day. The sessions have been back to back to back, value packed, power packed. And this particular session is not going to be anything short of value and power packed, right? So, guys, we're talking about raising the 10 over 10 girl, and I'm bringing to you my foremost, my raising girls coach, Irene Bangwell, woman on fire. Irene is like, when it comes to talking raising girls, she's like, your go-to person. And Irene is very cerebral. You're going to see for yourself. Let me not just, talk too much. But when she comes, she's going to blow your mind away. And she has a lot of goodies. We, both of us, I and Irene, I told you don't miss this particular session because we have a lot of goodies for you. And if you're able to stay to the end of the session, then you will see what we have in store for you, right? So if you're watching, copy this link, share it on your profile so that people can join. Use the hashtag Parent Summit Africa 2020. And if you're joining us for just your first time joining us, maybe you're just joining us, you just heard about Parent Summit Africa and you're wondering what Parent Summit Africa is all about, I'd like you to just give me a second, give me a few seconds so that I can show you what we are doing here and what Parent Summit Africa is about.
What we do with Parent Summit Africa is to help parents experience an awakening that will cause them to take a part to creating a change in themselves individually, as well as commit to raising a wholesome 21st century child. And as we do this collectively, we are building the kind of society that we want to see. Our mission with the Parent Summit Africa is to create a platform that equips parents with the skills, strategies, and resources for self-transformation and raising wholesome children. Our vision is to effect social and societal change through parenting education, especially to change the narrative of Africa and the African child.
Oh, yes, and that is what we are about. We are changing the world with parenting education. This is Parent Summit Africa 2020, the online experience, and I welcome you as I bring our speaker, Irene Bangwell, to come and show us what it means to raise a 10 over 10 girl. If you're here and you have a girl child, then this is a session not to miss. And you want to stick around to the end of this session as we have a lot of goodies and offers and giveaways to give to you at the end of this session. If you can hear me, please show me some love in the comments as I bring Mrs. Irene Bangwell. Good evening.
Hey sis, good evening.
Good
How are you
evening.
doing today, sis? Congratulations on the 4th edition of Parent Summit.
I'm fine. Thank you so much. You're live and the stage is yours. So I'm gonna leave. When you see my face again, you
Okay.
just know that
Okay.
we're ready to round up.
Okay.
All
So
right.
we're going to do this as quickly as possible. Thank you so much for having me. I think we're having a delay. Am I correct? All right. Good evening, everyone. If you can see me, hear me, please leave a comment in the comment section. I want to know. I want to see where you. Oh, you can. Thank you, Kweze. Thank you. So I'm so happy to be here tonight. It's a privilege to be a part of the 4th edition of Parent Summit Africa. My name is Irene Bangwell. So we want to do this as quickly as possible. Like Vivian said, I have an amazing surprise, an amazing gift for everyone who's going to be right here all the way to the end. So do me a favor, share this link, invite your friends. We're going to be talking about raising a 10 over 10 girl. We're going to be answering the question, is it a hype? What does it even mean when you say we're raising 10 over 10 girls? So I'm going to be sharing my screen in a moment. It will just take a few minutes. Okay? And so here we go. Right. So I want to get into presentation mode, okay? So once again, I'm excited to welcome you to the 4th edition of Parent Summit Africa. This session, we're going to be talking about the pillars on raising 10 over 10 girls. My name is Irene Bangwell. I like to introduce myself as someone who thinks that there's so much about your daughters. I believe so much in the capacity of your daughters. I believe that God created them for so much. I mean, right on my screen is so much. I mean, your daughter is a business leader. She was designed to be an academic giant, an illustrator, a dancepreneur, a digital marketing aficionado. Your daughter is designed to be so many things, a minister of the gospel, an intercontinental church that is celebrated all over the world, a leader of a widely acclaimed think tank. Yes, I'm talking about that, your daughter that the world manages to always say she's about getting married. The one that you were raised to somehow believe that the highest she can become is being married, having children, raising children. I started this journey exactly 9 years ago when my first daughter was born. I remember, the doctor telling me I was going to have a girl, and I'm right there saying, oh, because some years back, God had told me so much. When I was single, God had told me so much about the children I would have. He'd said they were going to be great. He would do this through them. He would do that through them. And so I'm right there, now mom of a girl child. And I'm like, well, God, you made promises to me. And now I have a girl. And he said, nothing has changed. Those promises were about her. So I'm that reminder from God to tell you that your daughters were born for more than marriage. I want you to write it down in your spirit everywhere you go. I want to remind you every time you see my name, I want one thing that comes into your head to be that you understand that your daughters were born for more than marriage. So once again, my name is Irene Bangwell. I run the platform on Instagram, raisinggirls.ng. And I provide girl parents with the tools and strategies that they need to raise strong, smart, confident girls. So today I'm going to be expanding what this even means. When I say strong, smart, confident girls, or when I say 10 over 10 girls, what does it mean? So I always like to start from the very beginning, because I teach from biblical principles. I always start here. You see, the first time that the word female appears in the Bible, it wasn't about marriage. It was about dominion. The first time, interestingly, the first time male was mentioned, it was mentioned side by side with female. And God was saying to your children, was saying to male and female on the first time he met them that they should go and dominate the earth. They should go and dominate the fish of the sea, the birds of the air, the cattle, the earth, everything that creeps. That mandate was given to man and woman on the same day. Unfortunately, what has been passed down is the idea that it's always been about the men. The leadership is for men. This is for the men. So today, I want to walk us through God's perspective about girls and what he expects them to be. So I moved on to this screen where immediately after God created them, he starts talking about them being fruitful, them having dominion together, equal before God. All right. So today I'm going to be talking about steps. I'm talking about the pillars to raising a 10 over 10 girl. And I like to add, or at least a 7 over 10 girl. And at the end of my session, one thing you're going to be able to learn is how much of a girl are you raising if all that you're talking about is her being married away? If everything that consumes you is being married away, if you're bleaching her skin so that she looks beautiful and attracts a kind of man, the question is, if you're successful at it, what over 10 girl is a girl who was raised for marriage? Eventually, you're going to know at the end of the session. So let me go on, all right? So before I start here, I want to talk about what happens when you don't raise a 10 over 10 girl. When you don't raise girls for their full potential. I mean, it was so beautiful listening to Sakunle this night talk and talked about, imagine that at the time your child is 18, they're no longer your child. So I'm asking tonight, how old is your daughter? How many more years before she hits 18? When she hits 18, is she going to hit 18 as a 10 over 10 girl, or she's going to hit 18 as a weird fraction? What is she going to emerge as? How old is your daughter? How many more years does she have before she hits 18? I'd like to see it in the comment section. Let me know, how old is your daughter? How many more years before your daughter hits 18? And so let's know what is in front of us. Let's know what is in front of us. Is this girl going to be wholesome? Is she going to be ready for the world? Sakunde kept telling us, prepare your girls to be ready for the world at the age of 18. And the question is, what's your plan? What are you doing right now to prepare her for that journey? All right. So today I'm going to walk you through, if you don't do this, yes, what's going to happen? The first thing that's going to happen if you don't raise a 10 over 10 girl is that you're going to raise a dangerous, insecure girl. And a dangerous, insecure girl is not just a girl with a low self-esteem. She's a girl who will walk away from opportunities that God has designed for her because there's a voice in her head telling her she's not good enough. She's a girl who will manipulate her friends. She's a girl that will be dangerous to a man. Very dangerous to a man. And you know the way God created us? He created us to thrive. He created men and women to thrive. Wherever you see a person who is not thriving, a person who is not where God needs them to be, they can be a danger to themselves and a danger to the next person beside them. So a 10 over 10 girl is safe to be with. But a 1 over 10 girl, or a girl who has been raised to be far less than what God designed for her to be, is going to be a very insecure girl. She's going to be entitled. She's going to be very manipulative. And you know, you hear concerns about some perspectives to feminism. Feminism as a concept is not wrong. It was just the idea that women should be able to vote. Women should be able to work and earn income, and perhaps equal income. Because if they work in the same office as a man, then they qualify to earn that income. It doesn't matter whether you think some things are going extreme or not. If you're a woman and you can drive a car, feminism won you the right to be able to drive a car, won you the right to be able to vote, won you the right to be able to open a bank account in your name. So there's nothing wrong with feminism in itself. However, when girls who were not wholesomely raised take a concept like feminism, what they make out of it is dangerous to society. But the concept in itself is not wrong. If you can wear trousers, then I want you to know that feminists fought for you. However, feminism is beautiful when a 10 over 10 girl is driving it. She knows that she's not supposed to push it as if she's fighting with men. She knows that her focus is the wholesome support and security and creating an environment for girls to thrive. So when you have a less than 10 over 10 girl, she becomes a danger even to a cause that should, that should advance women. And then when she becomes a mom, she will always be an angry mom and a toxic friend. An angry mom that pours her frustration on everybody. The one who feels the world has gone past her. So you see something you do with a child, the commitment or something you're working out with your daughters. Let's say something you take lightly as something that happens with you and your daughters can go a long way to affect who they are as mothers. So I need you to remember this. And then finally, when you don't raise your daughters to be 10 over 10 girls, you're setting them up for unfulfilled destiny. A girl who is less than 10 over 10 is very likely to have an unfulfilled destiny, because by the time I'm done today, you understand what I mean. So I'm going to start sharing with you some of the pillars that form what it means to be a 10 over 10 girl. I want to start here by saying that, yes. So I want to start here by saying that the 10 over 10 girl is not the new hype. It actually counts for something. It actually stands for something. All right. I don't know if I mentioned to you, but I'm a mom. I have two daughters. My first is 9. My second is 7. And I have no regret. And I'm not trying to have a boy. And I don't think my girls are worth 10 sons. I think that we need to stop putting girls against boys and boys against girls. So when I talk about 10 over 10 girl, I'm saying God created your daughter for a purpose. And as a parent, you have to partner with him to make sure that purpose happens. All right. So We'll not stop talking about girls because we are concerned that boys are not well taken care of. No, we have to take care of both gender equally. We shouldn't shut one up because of the other. So every agenda is legitimate. So the 10 over 10 girl is not a had. It counts for something. There are actions, there are virtues, there are principles, and that's what I want to share tonight. I don't think that watching this video once will be enough for you. So I think that you need to watch it again and again and again. And some things will begin to sink, especially beginning with how you were raised and how you intend to prepare your daughter for the 18-year-old mark. All right, so let's go. The very first pillar I always start with, the very first pillar for a 10 over 10 girl is that you have to raise a child, a daughter. I keep using child because some of these principles apply either way. All right, but right now I'm talking about girls because this is the core. For boys, identity is somewhat easier for them to form because society already calls them a leader, all right? But society easily tells the girl to be less. It's a reflex. We expect her to be less. Even you're a female, you're at work, you have a colleague who likes to share opinion. Your subconscious mind wants her to shrink because something is wrong with the way we were raised, all right? So the first principle for me is that you need to anchor your daughter's identity in God, in who God is, in how God made her, and the purpose he has for her, and the love he has for her. You must not anchor your daughter's identity on her looks, her hair, her skin, her gifts, and her talent. These things are so fickle because the journey for the girl is a long one. She has to have identity in the right place. She has to have identity in the right place, in the right support system. She has to have it on something that would never change. All right. So one moment you're a slim, beautiful girl and someone comes to marry you. And a few weeks later, you're married. You now have a child. You now have a tummy. If your identity was on your body, when motherhood hits you and changes start to happen, you won't love yourself anymore. And I know that as I'm talking, it's happened to so many women today. And unfortunately, we're still trying to pass it on to our girls. That identity that is anchored on ephemerals, things that can change. I want my daughter's identity to be based on God. And how do I test it? I ask my daughters, who are you? I want the first thing they say to be, I'm a child of God. Ever before they start talking about being a problem solver, being this. And don't get me wrong, your daughter should know they're beautiful. It's just that it shouldn't be the source of the identity. The second pillar for me is you need to build your daughter's confidence. I mean, what's your plan? Between now and 18 and your daughter turns 18, what's the plan to build her confidence? How certain are you that when she walks out of your door at the age of 18, that she'll be able to speak up when she needs to speak up? And someone could ask Irene, what's the big deal about confidence? Life is crazy. Quote me anywhere. Life is crazy. You have to be crazy to live life. There are people that are going to remind your daughter about her failures in the past. She has to be able to put them in the right place and put this in the right perspective. But she will not if you always shut her up. If you're raising a girl at home and every time she can't air her views, and in your mind you say you're a disciplinarian, she can't share her opinion, you don't listen to her, you have to dress her how you want to dress her, you make all the decisions for her, you don't help her see that she's an entity in herself and that God made her for a reason, and she can think, she can create, she can do. All you keep doing is shutting her down. When she leaves the door at 18, I keep telling parents this: if your daughter is used to taking instruction and not airing her views, peer pressure will drink her, because when she goes outside, she has mastered being told what to do. She hasn't exercised the ability to make a decision, to choose, to compare, to contrast, to pick a stand, and people support her. It means that when you throw her outside, when you send her out at 18, everybody's going to drink her. She's going to be moved by everything. So for instance, in a generation where there's social media, you need to raise girls who speak up at home, who share their views. On the day of the International Day of the Girl Child, I asked parents to go home and ask their daughter what she wants for dinner. You need to hear her views. A girl is raised and is told, you have to learn how to cook so that a man can marry you. Then you have to be beautiful so that he can marry you. You have to do this so that he can choose you. So eventually you find girls struggling, fighting each other so that they can cut a man's attention. And the question I ask is, what about the girl? Doesn't she have anything she wants? Doesn't she have any standards? Doesn't she have any preferences? Doesn't she have any taste of her own? Even when we go into religious organizations, it's always about how to prepare the girl to be attractive. What about her? Can't she? I mean, aren't the boys being prepared to be attractive to the girls? I mean, these are some of the issues. So for me, building her confidence is important. And one way I do this is by allowing my daughter speak up, allowing them share their views, listening to them, not shutting them out, giving them the opportunity to make decisions, and then teaching them how to make better quality of decisions, and so on and so forth. There's something I always use as an illustration. I stopped picking clothes for my daughters since when they were about 4. What I did instead was teach them how to make decisions about what they wear. So they start with, what event am I going for? The dress I picked, is it neat? Is it okay for the occasion? Will the room there will be warm? Will it be warm or cold? How does that define what I'm wearing? I used opportunities that help them build confidence and watch themselves make decisions. I used it to teach them skills. I don't impose on them. I don't. And I listen to them. And I don't know if parents know that children are loaded with wisdom. And when you give them the opportunity to express, it grows. It's like a seed. And you nurture and cultivate it. And this becomes such a beautiful sense of confidence as they get older. The third pillar is teach your daughters how to set goals. I mean, teach your daughters how to set goals. Teach your daughters how to set goals. We are so used to teaching boys, what's your 10-year plan, but not girls, because the girl is supposed to be the outcome of the boy's plan. But no, teach your daughters how to set goals. I mean, I remember a few weeks ago, my daughter went out with me and we came back home and she said, "Oh, Mom, I didn't achieve my goal for today." And I felt so good. So let your daughters know that life is lived deliberately. Think about it this way. What do people need to succeed in life? How can I wrap this into the experience of raising my daughters? So your daughter can dream. So teach her how to set goals. Teach her how to dream big. She wants to own an airline. It is okay. She wants to live in Australia. It is okay. She wants to build this and build that and build that and build that. It's totally perfect. Because if she can think it, she can achieve it. And if it can come upon her sense of reasoning, it means God has given her the liberty to express it. But some of us are too fearful as parents. We're too fearful. You don't want her to be too this. You don't want her to be too that. But your boys can be. But you're making her less. So for me, that doesn't count. Everything God designed. Don't forget. Let me bring this out. The 10/10 girl is a girl who is living her life in the totality of what God designed her for. And God has put dreams in their heart. We need to pull it out. We need to listen to them. We need to give those dreams expression and teach them how to go about it. We need to teach her about relationships. The 10/10 girl has mastered relationships. She's not perfect, but she's aware. I remember one time I was talking to my daughters about making friends. And I talked to them about you have to be kind to people, but you have to position people. There are friends that you can feel free to share certain things to, but there are friends that you can't. You treat everybody with kindness, but you don't give everybody access. And this begins about everywhere. We're teaching them how to, I'm teaching my girls, it's a priority, how to treat each other right through their siblings. Have you ever thought about what children could learn from treating each other right? I had this moment of epiphany some time ago, where I'm talking to my older daughter about what it means to lead her sister, about inspiring her sister. And, I would go on and on and on and on about, talking to her about inspire her, don't boss her into leadership. Let her be inspired by your actions. Be thoughtful towards her. Forgive her. Be patient towards her. And one of the things that came back to me was that when we start teaching our girls about relationships, what happens is we prepare them about how to participate in relationships. The girl that is in your house, by the time she's 18, is going to start making decisions around boys. What does she know about what makes a sound relationship? Now, I've stayed at home and I've talked to her about how to relate with her siblings. I've talked to her about how to respond to each other. I've talked to her about meaningful, responsible, respectful ways to relate with people. When she goes outside there in the world and people don't treat her in that same value that we've been teaching at home, They can know that something is wrong. Many of us got into relationships that were sickening, and we sat in there because we couldn't wake up in our minds. We didn't know in our minds that this was wrong. What about how to relate with relatives? What about how to relate with friends? What are healthy relationships? What are toxic relationships? But like when you're talking to your children about sibling rivalry, it's a very beautiful opportunity. It's a very beautiful opportunity to show them healthy ways of relating with people and toxic ways of relating with people. I don't know if you've ever been in a relationship where you think that the person you're in a relationship with was manipulating you, right? You need to prepare your daughters how to deal with people like that. I watched a video about a girl whose two friends took her somewhere to be raped because she kept saying she's a virgin. And the question I asked was, this girl needs to be relationship smart now. Shouldn't this girl have known that you're with friends who have a different lifestyle from you? Do they admire that your lifestyle and they want to copy you? Or do they consider you, why are you like that? Because I expect that we need to raise smart girls who can know that, oh, this is not someone I should be with. This is not someone this is not a space. This is not a space that I should be in. So we have to raise our girls to be relationship smart. The 10 over 10 girl is relationship smart. She knows who she's supposed to be with and all of that. I need to talk about the other pillar. Pillar number 5. It says here that the 10 over 10 girl has to be money smart. Her body is not a commodity. And someone will say, well, Irene, I have a really young daughter, and we're not talking about using your body for sex and all of that. But you are suggesting to your daughter that her body can be a commodity. Every time you sit down and talk about that colleague at work and so she's slipping her way to the top, I need you to know that you're introducing an alternative to your daughter. You're telling your daughter that there's another way to succeed. A colleague of mine is doing it, she's slipping her way to the top. The question is, are people doing it? Yes. But do you want your daughter to consider it as an option? No. So when people succeed, especially women succeed, it's okay to just say, man, she worked hard. So when I say this person really worked hard for this person is disciplined, this person is this person is that, I'm telling my daughters what the recipe to success is. So stop talking about your sister-in-law's lifestyle in front of your daughters. Stop talking about your younger sister or elder sister's lifestyle. Let your daughters grow up and find out that, oh, these people were like this. All right? Do you understand me? And one of the things I'm teaching my daughters from the get-go is that they can create money. Money is created. You find a problem that people have, you solve it in a way that they're satisfied, and they pay you money for it. And I'm talking about girls that are 9 and 7. This is something we're talking about. How do you make money on earth? You look for a problem that so many people have, you solve it in a way that is effective for them, and they pay you money for it. We have to start teaching our girls about wealth creation, about savings, investments, starting a business. Did you hear Sir Kunle talk about girls starting businesses at 18? That your daughter right now, can she start a business? Or she's expecting that you're going to pick her bills? I remember when my husband called my girls and said, I'm not going to pay your school fees in university. Your gift should. So find a way, birth your gift, solve a problem, and let who you become take you all the way to anywhere in the world that you want to go. I want you to think about that. For some of us, we think that, oh, saying I'm going to provide everything for my girls makes me a responsible parent. I'm asking, does it? Does it prepare your daughter for the real world? Does it prepare your daughter for being responsible, proactive about their own wealth creation? I mean, I know I've seen a number of wealthy people whose children didn't pick the legacy, whose children grew up expecting that everything should be done for them. So I'm asking you a question. Are your daughters getting ready to create resource for themselves, or they're waiting for you to hand down? Are your daughters, are they aware that within their realm of possibilities, wealth can be created? All right. So you get the idea. Okay. So the next thing is build her skills. You know, this one is one of my favorite. This pillar 6. All right. Prepare her for the roller coaster called life. Your daughter is going to be disappointed. Prepare her to deal with it. And guess what? Life is so beautiful. Many of the things that you need to teach your daughter, the opportunity to teach her is right in front of you. And what do I mean? So let me give you an instance. Prepare your daughters for disappointment. They are getting disappointment today. They're already disappointed. How do they harness it? When you shut them out when they're dealing with emotional issues, you don't teach them how to handle it. You don't teach them how to process their emotions, how to handle disappointment. You don't teach them how to think even in that feeling, all right? And that's what we need to do. I always tell parents that the biggest thing you can do for your child is skillify your child. What do I mean by that? Teach your children skills. When your children make mistakes, it's an opportunity to teach them how to do it better. Teach your children skills. Teach them what to go, where to go, what to do when this thing happens, and give them opportunity to practice. So teach your daughters how to think. Teach your daughters how to start a business. Teach your daughters how to deal with different roles. Teach your daughters how to make decisions. Teach your daughters how to respond in different situations, from safety situations to situations where they need to show empathy and kindness to making decisions. Let your daughters choose. Let your daughters make a choice. Let your daughters organize. Right now, it's subconscious in my home for my girls to use a checklist. A few weeks ago, they needed to go somewhere for a sleepover to a family friend, all right? And the next thing they said, the when we said, okay, you're going, they just said, all right, let's do our sleepover checklist. Skill. Build your daughter's skill, from organizational skill. And let me add here, skills will help them at work when they become moms, where they have to plan and organize and do this and do that. The skills will take them far. All right? And one thing that helps with building skills is chores. Your daughters incrementally should start taking responsibility at home. And when I say your daughters, I mean your boys. And your daughters are not taking responsibility because they are going to marry. Girls don't learn how to cook so they can cook for boys. Girls learn how to cook so that they themselves can be the first partaker of decent meals, right? Girls skills should be built up just the way that of the boys should be built up, from cooking to thinking to listening to the roles that they need to play to being ready for the roller coaster called life. Stop going to school to fight for your children all the time. There is a time to do that, but you can't do it all the time. A classmate did something to them, you put your mouth inside to settle it. Teach them how to stand up for themselves, learn from the situation, and build skills as a result. Skills is a big deal. In one of the resources that I'll be talking about at the end, we have a list of 10 skills every girl should have. 10 skills every girl should have, from self-care to personal responsibility to leadership skills. I mean, well articulated skills that every girl should have. And here I want to talk about pillar number 7. School is a priority. All right? School is a priority. Stop telling girls that so in some families they say, well, the boy needs to work hard because he's the one that is going to provide. But the girls, not much. The standard of expectation is very low. A few years ago, a school up north was having a problem. So they invited me to come talk to their girls. 720 something girls. They said they'd set a part of their school on fire. They were upset. And when I walked in there to talk to those girls, first they were eager to talk to me. I mean, I didn't expect that girls going through that kind of, hostility with their school management could want to talk to someone. And I was with them that night, and they said a number of things. The first was that the expectation on them is so low. And for people listening to me who live and work in the north, you might want to take this very seriously. All right? You might want to take this very seriously. The girls in the north in that classroom told me that there's a problem of low expectations. Their teachers speak to them in Hausa, and they want to be spoken to in English. They also talked about how everyone makes it look as if education for them is not useful. They're going to get married anyway. So they were upset about it. And so here's a few things I want you to know. Your daughter can do hard stuff. Your daughter can learn hard stuff. Your daughter can do math, science, technology, music, dance, and drama, whatever it requires of her. I don't know if you know that. I don't know if you've heard the story about Hidden Figures, a movie that you should look for to watch. It talks about the women who did the math that put the man on the moon. When NASA in America was trying to calculate what it would take them to get on the moon, it was women who did the math, and a good number of them were Black women, Black slave women. So as an educator right now, I'm used to hearing people say hard stuff is for boys. And that is crazy, because girls can do hard stuff. If you're a mom or a dad and you weren't good in math, it's not in your place to project it on your daughters. It's amazing what your daughters could become if you were not in their head, all right, for them to see the potential that they can be. And then finally, I want to end by saying that you need to stop doing comparisons when you're dealing with schoolwork. All your children are on a distinct journey. Your daughter is on a distinct journey. She's on a different journey than her other classmates. You need to know that school is a place where something inside your child is birthed. Some of us, when we collect our children's result, we rush all the way to where we see position and average. And I'm standing here to tell you that that's the least important part of your child's result sheet, whether it's a boy or girl. That's the least important part, all right? When you pick your children's report card, look for the places where they demonstrate exceptional performances. It usually tells you about where their interest is, where they have huge potential, while you're still driving them to improve in other places. See, God made your daughters on purpose, and He's poured in so much into them. And whether you realize it or not, your children's result is showing you indicators. So you have to be a lot more purposeful, with result sheet. One of your daughters is having A in geography, and you say, you can't even have the A in math and English, and you ignore it. When you start with the consciousness that your daughter was made on purpose, right? When you start with the consciousness that your daughter was made on purpose, and you want to harness her, you want her to be everything that God wants her to be, and what God has created and put inside of her. When you look at her result sheet, you will see what to harness. You will see what opportunities to expand for your daughters. Number 8, teach your daughter sex education God's way. All right? Society is all over the place. Everybody's talking about all kinds of things. You're the owner of your body. You're the owner of your body. You're the owner of this. You can do this. Fantastic. But I tell you, teach your daughter sex education God's way. Because in as much as some of us say, spend time, talk to your daughter, how to care for her body, how to protect herself, how to do this. There comes a time in your daughter's life where she's not trying to protect herself, where she wants to experience sex. The question is, what's the foundation of your daughter's life? When boys start telling her how beautiful she is, if she's empty on the inside, she's going to flow. That's my first point was, let your daughter's identity anchor in on who God says she is. So when you're teaching your daughter sex education God's way, it goes something like this. I was made by God. He's made me beautiful. I don't need any external validation about that. And then when I look at my body, I'm made in the image and likeness of God. I'm beautiful. I'm perfect. I don't need to be the girl on the magazine. And when a boy tells me he likes me, I can have a check in my heart to know, is this the right person to be with? I remember when I started working on my book, and God told me that I needed to tell teenage girls that He supplies all needs, including boyfriends. That when they anchor in on Him and know that when the time is right, God will bring me the right boyfriend. That will make a difference, because at that time, when a boy comes, they'll size him up by, is this the kind of person God can bring? Never lose sight of the fact that there's going to come a time that you don't have control over your daughter's choices. You don't. So I'm advising you that from the beginning, teach your daughter sex education God's way. From the get-go, all right? So I have a resource on this, but it's not yet ready, all right? And so when I was writing this slide, I had a witness that God was saying, God wants your girl to know that He's in her corner. In fact, I remember one day in church, I had this witness. It came on me very strongly. And God said, I need girls to know that I want them to do big things, but they should not compromise. And God was telling me, I want girls to show up at work, whether it's on internships or employment. When the employer says, I need you to sleep with me, I need her to look at him and say, you have no idea who my father is. And at that point, they should be talking about who God is, because God was telling me He's so tired about girls compromising, and that things He wanted to teach the men something with, but the girl already compromised through it. So these are things we need to start from the beginning and prepare our daughters for the time people will stand on their way, and how they are never alone. They are never alone no matter what happens. And God kept telling me to teach the girls that He's a strategist. He can get you out of anything. Don't feel that you're helpless so that you give into something you shouldn't be a part of. All right? So teach your daughter sex education God's way. And then teach her to lead in making a difference. Let your daughter see life outside of your cocoon. Let them volunteer. Let them care. Let them be a part of an empathy drive and kindness drive and be a part of a social cause and be thoughtful towards other people. Don't let the air of pride tribe. The 10/10 girl is not proud because she understands that she was made for the purpose of God. And in order to fulfill that purpose, she needs to serve other people. All right? She's a wholesome girl. And someone will ask me, where does this go to? I said, eventually, your daughters are going to make decisions about who they get married to. The quality of person that your daughter is will determine how they make that marriage decision. So you're listening to me. The marriage decision is half of the reality. It's half over 10. If you build all the skills I've been talking to your daughter, she's going to be able to be a solid person, a solid human being. She will make life decisions from that perspective. And I need you to know that that is really important. And that brings me to the end, the 10th pillar, which is build her character. Go home and raise a woman of conviction. A woman of conviction is a woman that speaks up. She can share her views. You can talk to her about life. She can respond to you. I don't know why you people run away from having substantial conversations. You sit down with your daughters and you're talking about Big Brother Nigeria. You're talking about very useless. Oh God! Even if you're passionate with Big Brother Nigeria, I'm telling you today, it's not. It doesn't add anything to your daughter's sense of value. It doesn't add anything to your daughter's character. So why don't we spend time and talk about things that are substantial? Your daughters have questions. They should be asking you. Why don't you make a commitment to raise a daughter of character? And all of these things I'm saying begins with you as a parent. It begins with you. You mother, you father, become a person of conviction. Become a person of strong character. Become a person of strong values. Because these principles have results. Let your daughter see the result of living life a certain way from you. You want your daughters to be honest. Be honest. Let your children see honesty through your eyes. Because I know that if you're an honest parent, you will also have results. Your children will watch those results happen. All right? It's not about telling them and not doing. You will have results that your children will like to have. Go and live an authentic, honorable life in front of your daughters. Raise a woman of conviction. Raise a woman of character. Raise a woman of strong values. Let her truth be truth. I'm tired of women stabbing each other at the back, fighting with each other for something that is something they should be working together about. I'm tired of women scheming at each other. The 10/10 girl does not scheme. The 10/10 girl does not need another woman to fail for her to succeed. The 10/10 girl upholds other women because her identity is in God. She knows that the way God loves her is the way God loves another woman. She doesn't need her marriage to fail for her to get in there. We need to raise a generation that is thoughtful. We need to raise a generation that does not say the heart wants what it wants. How can you sit down and want somebody's partner? How can you sit down and decide to be the source of another person's pain? I want you to know that today's side chick was once somebody's little girl. And I'm asking you, will your little girl be a side chick? I'm asking you that question in your face. Will your little girl accept to be a side chick? Because right now it looks far from you. So I'm going to ask you, between now and the time she turns 18, can she accept to be a side chick? Because when young girls stop being available to irresponsible men, society will change. So when I talk about the 10/10 girl, I'm talking about a rock solid girl that honors God, that has the right value in place, and she knows that if she needs to make money, there's a legitimate way to create that wealth. Her mother and father have invested in shaping her thinking. She didn't come to this world to be used as a tool by men. She knows what she wants out of life. She's determined. She has her opinion. She shares her view. Stop shutting down your girls. Stop telling them to shut up. A woman should be seen and not heard. Who said it? Who said it? On whose authority? Where is it written? Who told you that? I'm a woman organizes conference. You're sitting down here, you're drawing value from it, yet you believe that a woman should be seen and not heard. Let me tell you, remember that page 1? If you don't raise a 10/10 girl, your girls are going to come back mad at you. Your girls are going to make decisions that will make you hide. Your girls are going to do things that you'll be like, Jesus. And I want you to know something. That girl in your neighborhood that everybody keeps talking about, she was once somebody's baby girl. I want that to sink. And many girls become something that nobody thought they would. And I'm asking, why did you think she would not become that? What did you do to make sure she doesn't end up that way? What did you do? How enabling was your environment at home to make sure that you raise a woman of strong values? Is it important to you? Or you say, who will help? I want to see a generation of girls who say, damn any organization that says you employ me by my complexion. I'll go and start my own business. I will trust God. I will build. I will speak up, and we will change society. So if you're a mother listening to me, I want you to know that it is socialization that makes you feel that your daughter should shut up. It's what you were taught, not what God wants in any way. We can teach our girls to have responsible conversations, but they need to speak up. We cannot shut them down. Now that you know all these things I've said, I've talked about building her skills, building her character, making her body smart, teaching her about relationship, teaching her about relationship with God, building her confidence. Now you know all these pillars I've been talking about. What are you going to do? And mommy, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're going to go back and do what? Now that you know, what are you going to do? If you've been so used to shutting your daughter up, what are you going to do now? That's the question that I'm asking. Hope is not a strategy. God forbid. I like the way Wendy puts it. She says, God forbid is not a strategy. I saw a disappointing video a few months back. A girl, a particular lady who twerks on Instagram. They say she's an influencer. She has so many million followers and she's earning money from it. No, I mean, it's her life. I now saw a picture of her childhood. Like they used to go to Deeper Life. Long gown with scarf. I want to ask you a question. Do you think their parents were not praying for them? Do you think their parents were not praying for them? Let me shock you. Prayer works. But Bible says that faith without works is dead. The Bible says that faith without works is dead. If you're going to listen to me and go back tonight and take no proactive measure to reshape this thing you're doing in your house and calling it raising your girls, you dress them up. The one word that comes out of your mind, you're beautiful every day. Pack them, dress them up. You want to dress them up so that friends are impressed. Your girls are watching you. It means you're telling them that they are baby dolls, that to be dressed up and complimented, which is a lie. So eventually, they want the compliment all the time. They want it from married men, from old men, from sick men, from all kinds of things. So hope is not a strategy. And God forbid is not a strategy. And prayer without faith, without works is dead. Some people have told me, well, my mom prayed for me. She didn't do much and I came out well. I want to ask you, do you remember at any point in your life when you were intercepted by mentors who stepped in to help you? Can you remember? That was the works that by the mercy of God intercepted you. Did you hear me? So if you listen to me and walk away, no problem. I want you to know that the Runs girls, those girls putting their nudes on Instagram and on social media, they were once somebody's baby girls. So when somebody comes to me and says, you're talking girls too much, I say, you don't get it. You don't get it. Girls have been sickeningly socialized. We've raised girls to believe that they are commodities for boys. We've talked about boys so much more than we talk about the girl's potential, about her ideas, about her skill, about her dream, about what God is calling her to do. We've talked about boys so much. You tell the girl not to go outside, close her leg, keep her body till she marries. Who told you girls keep their virginity for boys? Who told you that? So who do boys keep their virginity for? Girls keep their virginity to honor God. They don't keep it for boys. My girls will keep their virginity to honor God. When you keep making it about boys, you defeat the purpose of God in your daughter's life because it's never been about boys. See, let me give you a breakdown. If you raise a 10/10 girl that is anchored on God, God will make sure a commensurate boy raised to be 10/10 himself goes on a journey. Because here's the thing, God calls men for a purpose and calls women for a purpose. When they partner together, it's incredible what can happen in the world. So go home and raise a good child. Go home and raise, and a good child I'm talking about is a 10 over 10 girl. I'm not talking about a good child that when you say yes, you say yes. Go, it says go. That's not a good child. I want a child who can share what's in their mind. Excuse me, they can share what they feel, they can ask questions, they can probe, and they can make important decisions. So look at the screen right now. Look at the screen right now. So I'm looking at Ibukun Awoshika. I'm looking at Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. I'm looking at Udo Okonjo. So let me run it down. Ibukun is First Bank chairman. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala is almost, we're praying for her to become the president of the World Trade Organization. Udo Okonjo is a lead real estate expert in Nigeria. And then we have Mo Abudu, Ebony Live TV. And then we have Ola Orekunrin, the CEO of Flying Doctors. When you look at these women, I'm sure what comes to your mind is, wow. What comes to your mind is, oh, they stand out, they are outstanding. But do you know that someone raised them? Is Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala not married to a successful surgeon at that? These people standing here, they are not different from your daughters. In any way, they were created to be just like your daughters. They were created to achieve purpose. They were created to do amazing things. So the question I'm asking you is, what's the plan to nurture your girls into this kind of greatness? What's your plan to normalize greatness? What's your plan? So a few months ago, Vivian and I came together and said, you know what? Let's work with parents to develop structure for parenting. Let's work with them to dream, create something, and pursue it. Let's work with them to articulate their plans. So a parent can come and say, well, I want to start building a daughter of conviction. How do I start? Let's bring women together. Let's bring parents together and help them articulate a plan. And so we came up with a program called One Parenting Plan Away. I want to show you something in a moment, all right? We came up with a program called One Parenting Plan Away, an exhaustive experience where we are going to walk you through several things in a 5-day boot camp, all right? We're going to walk you through this Raising Girls checklist, how to set the right routines, how to bond to build relationships that makes for fruitful interaction with your children, how to support your daughters at school and your sons at school. How do you become more purposeful as a parent, knowing that you have an 18-year timeline to meet? Your baby is going to leave home. That's the truth. Your baby is going to leave home. And this product we've designed, there is no way that it will not be worth the 112,500 naira we've designed it to be. I'm going to be sharing the screen in a moment where you see it's an explosive experience. So much that we've pieced together in this experience. One Parenting Plan Away, 5-day boot camp in December. But when we pieced it together, we said, you know what, let's make it easy for our parents to join. Let's make it easy. Let people be able to come, sign up, sit down with us, talk to us. So they're taking courses, and then we're doing live sessions, and we're just walking them through different things, all right? So we decided to make this offer for just 20,000 naira. The total value of what's in the bundle is 112,500 naira. I'm going to show you in a bit. So we have Successful Parenting Blueprint as a course, creating routines that work. If you're a parent that you start something, you're not always consistent, or you do something one day, you're not consistent, because consistency is king. What do? Then we have the parent and child bonding experience. We have family values assessment plan. We have the Raising 10 over 10 Girls checklist, where these pillars I talked about tonight, you're going to be seeing sub pillars. What you should know, what your child should know, what you should do, what your child should do. How do they succeed at school? We have a bonus from Chef T of Sobek Foods, where she's sharing with families amazing Christmas recipes to make family fun this Christmas. Then we have amazing planning templates. We have amazing planning templates, from self-esteem template to affirmation template to bonding template, all sorts of things, including having a live session with us. So it's the total value is 112,500 naira, but we're giving it out at 20,000 naira and that's going to be on all the way up till December. Vivian will tell us later about all the details. So if you're listening to us and you're saying, I want to get on this, I have an 18-year mark to reach, I need to get on this, I need to open up my children's life and say, in this area, I need to do this. In this area, I need to do this. In this area, and all of that. If you're listening to me and you'd like to take this offer, where you're going to get it is on seller.co/one parenting plan away. So write it down somewhere, write it in your notepad. If you can type it in the comment section for us, please do that. So it's easy for people to click and go. But that's not all. Because you're watching us live right now, we have a 24-hour window, a 24-hour bonus, our fast action bonus for anyone listening to us who wants to join us on this boot camp, where we're telling parents, man, plan your parenting. Get your children into the shape that you need them to be, where when they walk out of your doors at 18, you feel proud at the work you've done. See, whether you take this offer or not, your children are still going to turn 18. And the question is, what quality of human being is living? You heard me talk about raising a money smart girl. What does it take to raise a money smart girl? What does it take to raise a relationship smart girl? What does it take to raise a girl with the right sexual values? And that's what we're talking about. So if you're listening to me and you would like to jump on this, we still have a fast action bonus for you within the next 24 hours after tomorrow is over. For that, you can't use the link. All you need to do is make a transfer to the number on your screen and send a DM to either Vivian or myself and let us know that you took advantage of the fast action bonus. And the fast action bonus is just for 15,000 naira. Remember, the original value of the bundle is 112,500 naira. We're going to be sharing the content over the next couple of weeks as we prepare for an amazing bootcamp in December. We look forward to seeing you. We want you to invite your friends, talk to as many people as possible to be able to be a part of this. Raising the 10 over 10 girl is a priority. We have to be deliberate about raising a resourceful girl, adaptable, disciplined, fearlessly authentic, thoughtful. I mean, you heard Mr. Kunle talk about building your, cultivating your daughter's curiosity, their fearlessness, and their spontaneity. How do we raise thinking boxes? Kids who can create and think and build, whether they're girls or boys. So we're teaming up on this. So there's a value for girls, for those raising girls, and then there's the general value for everyone else, all right? And not just general value, is meat and everything. So I think that's about it from me. This is a priority, yes. So I'm saying something, 10 over 10 girls count for something is not a hype. There's a lot of pillars that go into it, and preparing your girls for just married is just half over 10. It's not even up to 1, because the value that your daughter, the kind of decisions your daughter will make when it comes to marriage is enriched by the quality of person that she is. And let me tell you, quality children at the age of 18 requires just requires a parenting plan. So as you're listening to me, you're just one parenting plan away from raising that child of your dreams. When they leave your doors, you can breathe and say, oh, I've contributed a quality human being in the reality of the world. So that's it. I think I've overshot on my time. My sincere apologies. Welcome back, Vivian. Thank you so much.
So someone is asking, can people in the UK access this bundle? I have a boy, not a daughter. Can I also use this? Absolutely.
Okay, so this is principle-based bundles. This is a principle-based bundle. So you will take it and go and create the reality you want. So it will serve you whether you're raising a boy or a girl.
So does a person in the UK have a link to make payments?
Yes, there is a link. The link is seller.co. Let me see if I can. Yes, seller.co/one parenting plan away.
Yeah, okay. All right.
selar.co/one parenting plan away.
All right. Thank you, Irene. Guys, this I was just here speaking in tongues when Irene was speaking. You know, whenever Irene comes to talk, you have to check back your notes to know if you're doing things right with your daughters, right? And this bundle that we have offered, we have been we have been thinking about it for a very long time, and we have put a lot of thought to articulate this for parents so that from The moment you enter 2021, you have a roadmap, you have a guide to actually doing things right and putting things in the right perspective. If you have been watching us from the session one, there is something you must have noticed. Every speaker kept on saying, you must have a plan. You must have a plan. You can no longer assume parenting. So take advantage of this offer. This is the first time we're making this offer, and we cannot guarantee that the next time we make the offer that it will be at this price. It might be at the original price. This is our gift to you for being with us all through these sessions in the Parent Summit Africa. We have one more session to go where I'll come and share with you how to thrive through the early years of parenting. If you're a parent of a toddler or a schooler, please don't go anywhere. The toddler years and the preschooler years, the first 6 years of the parenting, when your children are still little, are the years that are most difficult for a lot of parents. And the thing is that at that time, it's also important that you do things right. You cannot say, oh, I'll wait till my children are grown, then I'll start doing things right. Right? So if you're a parent of a toddler and a preschooler, wait right here for the next session and we're starting right away. Thank you so much, Irene. Thank you for this explosive session.
Thank you,
Um,
ma'am.
Thank you for breaking everything down. Even I
Thank
myself, I learned. I always learn, you know now. All right, sis. So, guys, don't go anywhere. Share what you have learned. We've learned so much. We've learned about the 10 pillars. Share what you have learned. Share about the one parenting plan away. If you know any parent who needs that, then you need to share it to them as well. Yeah. So I'll see you right away. I'm not going anywhere. I'm coming right in for the next session. Please hang around and let's conclude this in a grand style. I also have a free giveaway for you at the next session. So, guys, you people should cook Christmas rice for me. You'll see all the amazing things I'm doing for you guys, right? We thank God for grace. We thank God for what He's doing. My only prayer is that you take all this knowledge and that you apply it. That you don't just load knowledge and then when you leave this door, everything is just like babash, right?
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
see you in the next session.
Absolutely. Yes.
Thank you,
Thank you so
Irene.
much. All right,
All right,
sis.
all right, sis.